Hey, there we go. All right. Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back with another episode of the Wild Cabin Podcast. This is the premiere of Season 2. This is actually a little different because I'm actually doing this live. Normally, I do these pre-recorded. So doing these live is very interesting. I think I may only do it for the season premieres and take it from there. But I hope everybody has been doing well since my absence. I feel, like I said, I think it feels super fucking weird to be back. This feels super weird. But a lot of changes has happened, which is good. Let's start with the question of the day, shall we? First of all, like I said, screw that, unscripted. Before we get to that, you can see I'm rusty already. I just want to sincerely say thank you all for supporting me on my absence via Me Away from Media, Discord, Twitch especially, and I appreciate it. I really do. I got all your messages, and it was very sweet of you guys to even consider me. And that feels very, very good. And today's a very special episode simply because Season 2 already. Season 2 is here, which is honestly something I never thought would happen. The support on Spotify has been beyond my expectations, so I appreciate it. And everything just recently got re-uploaded to it, and the support still is doing very well. I know a lot of people miss me on Twitch playing video games, ranting. I'm not saying that's not going away, but for right now, it may just die down, as I've said in the finale. But as the title suggests, I do want to talk about something near and dear to me and a feeling that I have not felt in years, and that is happiness. This episode is going to be about my mood changing. I would love to hear how you guys got happy as well, and sincerely see if we could grow together, because I think via the emails that I've been getting, the questions that I've been getting on my media, the first thing that I really posted since I've been back is if you guys have any questions about the podcast, because if you guys have questions or anything, I will try to answer them on the podcast, or they will be the question of the day. The only reason that I'm not doing it for this episode is it's the premiere. Every episode of Season 2 will include a question of the community, some forth, or many. I don't really know. There's so many plans going in my head. And I don't know if we'll do this live more often, or I'll just do it some fancy schmancy stuff. So it is about happiness. And this is one feeling I haven't felt in a very, very long time. I don't want to be like, oh, woe is me, but shit. Like, I think alone, all of us for the last 2 years or so, I think felt some misery, if not more than usual. And that happened for me, where it's just piled up, and then, you know, when shit goes wrong, honestly, it goes to... It piles up, and you blame yourself for shit that you can't control. And it is very, very hard to sort of lift yourself back up. And that's what I want to talk about, because, you know, since I've been away, I think it's been, I want to say a month, because I know I did one stream once, and then I think I did it on the 2nd of last month. So I've been gone for about a month, and I would say about 2 months off media per se. And let's get to it. You know, I have I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it is a list that I made years ago, before COVID started and everything, on what made me happy. And I'd recommend, you guys do this as well if you are a fan and you want to participate. Like I said, if you do have any questions, send them my way via my media in the links below. But I'm gonna be straight honest. It's really fucking pathetic, that what I have written down, and this was probably mid 2019, because I like to do these stuff for me, before the pod and everything, just to look back and be like, wow, I thought that, or I did that. And literally what's on here is Spyro makes me happy, and I'm gonna make a list on the spot, and via then and now, because I find this like really pathetic and really sad, like where my mental state was at. So the list is Spyro, writing songs, singing, and Funkos. That's it. Like, Twitch is on there as well, but I think even that was like the peak before COVID, and that's before when everything like went downhill. Like, just those few things is just really fucking pathetic in my, like, looking back at it. Like, that's really all I did back then, and I'm just like, oh fuck. Like, family wasn't on there or anything, like friends weren't on there. It's just like, yes, all right, cool. But I also think, like, back then, like with Twitch, I didn't really count Twitch as more of a family than what I did now. And I'm gonna get back to that. And like I said, I want you guys, if write a list today, and like from a year from today, look back on that list and be like, wow, like I gave a shit about that person, or I love that thing. Because you don't think about these things, where right now I think I've been the happiest I've been in years. And I think I said that on the finale as well. And to consecutively say that, where I'm happier, that feels good for once. Like, a lot of pressure has come off my shoulders, which is good. I really didn't put myself in that position where I'm just like, everything's on me, all that pressure, all that, what could I do better, and everything's my fault. Like, 2 years ago, if a meteor hit the earth, I would be like, it's my fault, no. Zombie apocalypse, I did it. And it's just like, you can't have that mindset. It used to be super apologetic, where say sorry after everything, and I just realized where I'm just like, oh, I'm not really sorry for saying sorry, and I don't really give a shit. But now it's 2021, and off the top of my head, I don't have a list in front of me. What I like this podcast mainly because it's so free spirited. People have questions, I'll answer them, and I don't have a script. That may change in the future, but I feel like, especially when I have a co-host on, I just like shooting shit. And with this microphone, this dildo shaped microphone in front of my mouth, I talk to it, and I like that. Not that it's a dildo. Sometimes you just gotta make yourself laugh. I'm feeling like shit today, so I gotta make myself laugh. Where I forgot where I was at. Fuck. Off script, uncensored. Let's shoot some shit. But I gotta make myself laugh, because like I said, I'm feeling like dog shit. But that doesn't stop me, being happy, changing my mindset, and I think that's what really helped. Give me a second while I drink some water. Here's to my ASMR fans. Delicious. That's totally professional, right? But happiness. I would say off the top of my head, what makes me happy now. It's gonna say so self-condescending, but I'm gonna say I make myself happy, where I got to put myself on that list again, where I learned this very young, where I loved myself, but I don't think I necessarily cared for myself. And I got to put that back on the list where I make myself happy. Where it may sound silly and it may sound dumb, but for years and years, you know, if something was wrong, I fixed it, but I never knew like if it had repercussions, or like sometimes you just can't fix shit right away. And that was my mindset for a very long time, where I'm just like, oh fuck, you know, this happened, I gotta fix it right away. Like, hypothetically, lose $10,000 at a casino. Oh fuck, how am I gonna get that money back? You know, that instant. And I'm gonna get to a story like that in a second. I didn't blow 10 grand on a casino before. If you're listening, be like, damn Joe, you crazy. But you know, family is definitely up there now, where it was always on there, but it went to a certain extent where you say hi, goodbye, and that's it. Where now I love them more. Not all the family, you know, you have that one person in the family where you're just like, I don't want to be next to them. Where I've realized where I had to swallow my pride for the longest time and not be honest and real with them. And, you know, maybe I'm still uncomfortable. You know, it's easier to do this with friends where, you know, you're just straight up honest, shoot some shit, tell them your thoughts, and that's it. Where recently I had to do that with a family member, and it feels like you're bottling up emotions, and you're like, your family, you don't want to hurt their feelings. But on the other side, okay, if you don't say how they feel, you could just get distant apart. And, you know, I was very honest with a family member recently, and it got heated where they're just like, oh, fuck, he's insane now. And I'm like, no, I just, you know, I just don't want to live a lie and not be honest with you. I don't want to take this bullshit home with me and be like, I should have said something. So that has definitely made me more happy, and like being vocal. You know, I think I've always been vocal, and I know that's being with my community for a while. Being vocal is definitely one of the hardest things I've been told that people could learn, where, you know, there's so many factors. And I just learned my voice when I was very young. I wouldn't say young, but I would say like maybe 13, 14. But you got to pick and choose your battles, because at that stage of your life, you know, you could be honest, but you don't really get the necessarily respect that you get, if that makes sense. Like, if you're straight up honest with the parent, and you say how you feel, they may just say it's a phase or something, where it's not necessarily, but they just don't understand you. So it's very hard. You know, I think when I was 16, I think people were just like, oh fuck, okay, he's actually speaking his mind here. Where you know, you got to use that at your best advantage, in my opinion. You know, don't wait until you're like 21. You know, if you really have a voice, and you're just like, Joe, how do I find my voice? First off, talk to a mirror. I know that sounds silly, but yeah, that definitely helped me a lot. But I also did public speaking for many years, and it was good. That just reinsured where I have a voice, and I don't really give a fuck what people think to a certain point. But obviously you do, if you love and care for them. So be honest. Surprise, surprise, Spyro is still on my happiness list. Surprise, surprise. You know, surprise, surprise. I love that dragon. You know, I don't know if I ever told the story of why I loved Spyro via the podcast, but long story short, where the game was one of my first games in 97, I want to say. Between 97 and 99. And I got a PS1 and I got a bunch of games. And I remember like it was yesterday, where it was Toy Story 2, Toy Story Racers, Bug's Life, Spyro the Dragon. And, you know, it was a great day. It was my first video game console ever. But every game I knew except this Spyro guy. You know, who is this Spyro and everything. And I booted it up and I fell in love with Allura. No, don't look that up. Don't look up Allura from Spyro. God damn it. I don't want comments like that. Fucking, I'm not a furry. Don't at me, Joe's a furry. Nevertheless, where I love that I loved it. I loved it. Why did I love a video game? It sounds silly, but at that time, I had no friends. I didn't really have friends through high school, and I was like a loner. You know, my mom, I love her, but her mindset was very, very raw at the time, where she transferred me all through all the elementary schools in my small town. And she's like, well, when he goes to high school, he'll have all friends, because his, you know, even she's just like, he's a loner kid. He's in the corner. And when he's in high school, great. And lo and behold, I moved to Arizona and I don't even go to high school in New Jersey anymore. So as you could see, that's like a big FU. Be like, what? I thought, no. So Spyro has been basically through all my life, where it was that game. It can be difficult, but I played it and I enjoyed it, and it wasn't competitive, it wasn't anything, wasn't stress inducing. You know, worse you said fuck and you're just like, oh, I don't know where this gem's at. But my love grew for it, and it's my palate cleanser, I guess. When life gets really shitty or I'm really happy, I'm just like, oh shit, Spyro's there, you know? And it may sound silly, but I think everybody has that niche where you have a memory where it's just like, oh, this, that. And I think I'm a real nostalgic guy. And I think nostalgia makes me happy, because no matter how hard life gets, you always have those memories, you know, where I know for my experiences alone, where you're just like, everything's shit, I'm losing everything, and I just want to fucking cry. And like, you could grab a plush and hold it, you know, after for so many years you don't have anybody, and it's just that comforting character. It's that comfort character where, you know, hopefully one day I could be somebody's comfort character and be like, oh dude, I mean, technically people already call me a soft boy, so I guess I'm a comfort character. I'm that sweet. If life was a sitcom, I would be the comfort character who's cute and innocent. That's it. That's me in a nutshell. Boom, there you go. But that's why I love Spyro. Spyro's been there through all my hard times. Parents arguing and everything. Just blast the PS1 and boom, play Spyro. And yeah, that's why I love Spyro. And my list currently, I think if you want to participate, all right, you could do what I did and do like top 5 things that make you happy and why they make you happy. Because I think happiness is that emotion for me where it's been locked for so many years. And I know a lot of people have that same issue. I definitely think life has that problem where if you're in school or anything, people are just like, I am stressed, I am not happy. And happiness goes right out the window. Where I think a lot of people, especially within these 2 years, push happiness aside. You know I did that, and I know if you're going to school now without masks, I know that's a huge change, and your happiness gets pushed to anxiety or nervousness, and you got to find that happiness. You got to find that happiness. So like I said, write down 5 things today on a piece of paper. Write down what makes you happy, and from a year from now, 6 months from now, you look back on that list and you go and you re-listen to this episode of the podcast, The Wilde Cabin, on Spotify, and you tell me if it's the same, because I guarantee you that shit ain't gonna be the same, because 1 year to 6 months is a really long time. And number 3 that's on my happiness list of 2021 is Funkos aren't on there anymore. I know, right? Remember when I used to be a Funko fanatic, where I'm just like, I need them all, and then I sold majority of them during COVID because I'm like, COVID sucks. Still have a few though. Walking. I can't believe I forgot how I love walking. I love nature walks, man. I love nature walks, and you know, I'm still, you know, doing this. I'm a hermit. A lot of things are on the computer. Hold on, I need some H2O. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well still. You gotta drink some H2O. And well, nature is just a beautiful fucking thing. Granted, I think that's why I'm sick, because I took my sandals off at a dog park and I got bit like 20,000 times, and it sucks. I think they sucked all the blood out. And walking, I've been told I've been pushing it to the limit lately, where I love working out and walking, but currently it sucks. Like, you know, I push myself to the limit because I feel like necessarily I don't have a limit. I think the only way I'm gonna stop pushing myself is if I get hit by another car again. Honestly, the ironicness of that, where I don't really see it as pushing myself. Like, I think a lot of people in life have seen me and they're like, wow, you look like you're different. And I'm just, simply put, I feel different. I feel fantastic. I feel fucking fantastic. Cover me in plastic, call me your Barbie girl, damn it. But from doing that change where not going out, laying in bed, sulking, you know, playing some video games, that's fine. You know, that's fine. I completely 100% believe that's fine. Where I used to play video games a lot, you know, granted it was for content and stuff, and I'm not gonna stop doing that, but I switch priorities around, where I would rather go out or work out or whatever outside than play video games. I think the fun is just gone for that, where it's just like, oh man, you know, Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I'm like, oh my god, Kingdom fucking Hearts, and I fangasm. I fangasm all over Aqua. I'm not gonna say Sora because that's a little weird, but I'll fangasm all over Aqua. If this is somebody's first time listening to the podcast, oh my god, I want to know what they think. And I don't know, you know, after like being in my depressive state, and I think that was one of my biggest turnarounds, where going outside helped a lot, where it increases my mood, where, you know, a lot of my family is just like, okay, let's sit around and watch TV. I'm like, okay, I don't really want to do that. So then I go outside, and I relax out there, and they're like, wow, Joe's weird. And I'm like, no, I just want to relax. But a lot of things I did outside, though, for many, many years, and out of the army, I just didn't have the accessibility to do it as often as I used to. And, you know, then COVID hit, and then everybody got paranoid, me included. I didn't get paranoid, but I'm like, this is perfect. I don't want to be by people at all. And I just did my exercise inside, and, you know, doing my exercise inside compared to outside, it's a huge difference. It's the exact same shit, but that wind in your face, that people staring at you looking like you're weirdo, it's good. And that's what I would recommend. Where I do miss school. I do miss the school in Arizona, because it was such a big campus, where you gotta walk like half a mile to your next room anyway in like 6 minutes, and you know, you're huffing and puffing, but that wind and that air is just like, oh, this is fresh air, and not like AC air. So that walking, exercising, mainly walking, is definitely on my happiness chart. And so I got myself / family, Spyro, obviously, fucking walking. What I would probably still say the Twitch community. I wouldn't say Twitch, but I would say my Twitch community. I think definitely a lot of people have, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, a lot of people were accepting that I left. A lot of people were pissed off that I left, and trust me, that has probably ended a few friendships there. But I think a lot of people are gonna see the change, where, oh fuck, he's happier and he puts out better content. Where it's crazy to think about. It's really crazy to think about. And after doing this for so long, from going to competitive with Hearthstone, doing speedrunning for Spyro the Dragon, then doing years of variety streaming, and then basically saying, I can't do it anymore, and like tapping out, and I'm just like, I can't do it. Where it doesn't make me happy as it once was, and I put my happiness aside, and I think people saw that for sure, where they're just like, oh fuck. And, you know, you also get those speculators where it's just like, is it just going to be the podcast? Where I like you, Joe, but, you know, I like interacting with the community and everything. I get it. I get it. And trust me, I listen to you. And I take everything into consideration, and it's just like, but then you also have those people where they're just like, welcome back, bud. You know, welcome fucking back. And it's just like a pat on the back, where I'm just like, oh my god, like that feeling love factor is there, and it's just like, oh my god, like it's gonna be, it's a change. It truly is. And it's just like, he's gonna do it his own way. He's really gonna do it his own way. He's gonna find his niche, and all I could really do is support that, and that's it. And I love those people. You know who the fuck you are. You know who the fuck you are right now. I'm staring at two of them right now. Where, you know, I can't thank those people enough. Where, as I've said, if you didn't listen to the finale of last episode, it's on YouTube and Spotify. The Wild Cabin podcast. Make sure you fucking follow on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. I'm gonna stay quiet now while you do that right now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. That's peer pressure. That's peer pressure. Actually do it. All right. And of course, like I said, message me via my email. That's on the link of the description. You could email me if you don't have Discord or YouTube or Twitter or Instagram. Yeah, my business email. Some people see it. Some people say it, and thank you. I didn't think I would actually get emails. The only reason why I'm mentioning that 3 times now is simply because this is season 2, baby. This is season fucking 2. All right, this is season 2. Technically, this is my first live quote-unquote audience, because I don't know if I'm going to keep these live or just keep gaming for Twitch. I don't know. Both have their perks. Both have their perks because I get to see your guys' lovely faces. You guys could yell at me. To be fair, I don't know what my last one is. I don't know. Maybe it's a queen. Maybe it's a huntress. I don't know. That's an inside joke, by the way. Shout out to that person. But truly, I don't know. And that's okay if I don't have a 5th one. Because I think life will throw that in my fucking face. Or I will end this episode, this podcast episode, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I forgot it. Oh, of course, this thing. You know, I can't say billiards. I can't play baseball. Simply because those made me happy years ago. And one day I will get a billiards table and I will fucking pose nude on that billiards table and I'm gonna make a Joe Wilde calendar. Absolutely. You could quote me on that. That'll sell out in days. But I love those in the past. Believe it or not, people are already saying how much. That actually made me laugh. Believe it or not, I love fucking baseball. That came out wrong. I love playing baseball. And believe it or not, I used to be a third baseman, catcher, and a left fielder. Not because I sucked, but god damn I could throw that ball so fucking far and fast. That's why. And I actually went out on the baseball diamond recently by myself because I'm a loner and I don't have friends. And I could still fucking throw just like I do life. But I'm still throwing. But I can't put those on my list. I just can't. And I think that's what I gotta realize, where I'm just like, I don't have a 5th one on what makes me happy anymore. Or I don't yet, because I cut back so much stuff where since May, I took out a lot of negativity. My mindset has definitely changed. I focused on myself, and I haven't done that in God knows how long, since the army days, where you know, it's a brotherly bond, but in certain extent you gotta fend for yourself first before you fend off anybody else, like before you care about anybody else. And putting my priorities first, and if people are just like, why are you doing that, I just say fuck them. Where, like, not fuck them in a rude way, but if they don't comprehend, you can only explain yourself so much, and if they don't understand or support you gotta leave it alone. You gotta go it alone. And that was really hard, and I don't really like to say the word goodbye to people, because it's not a goodbye, you know, I'll come back or they'll come back or whatever. But to the point that I'm making, where if you got, let's say you're moving and you got a job promotion and a friend wants you to stay, not a lover, but like a friend, be like, oh man, you know, you should stay, and they don't really give you valid reasons, but you know it's good for you. You may lose a friend, but your journey has just begun, and years later they may just say, oh fuck, you know, I'm sorry, or you know, that really, you got to open your heart a little bit. And you know, if you don't explain and you don't explain why it's good for you, I think people won't really give a shit. No matter what, I think people won't really give a shit to a certain way. But those people that do support you, you know, I reached out to them first. You know, I basically, before I did anything, where I'm just like, hey, look, I'm back, bitch. And you know, if you're saying to yourself, Joe, why didn't you message me too? There's probably loads of reasons where I don't want to be stress induced. I didn't get a message while I was away, and those people that respected my wishes, I gotta say thank you again. I always have probably one or two people that break the rules, but you know, they do one message and be like, hey dude, I hope you're well, and I respect that. Where my tagline, you know, for the longest time, mentally, is I'm going ghost. Where you know, I let people know that I'm going ghost before I ditch them. Where I had to leave. I had to leave, where I'm just like, I gotta focus on me. And it's not that I don't love and care for the people that are there, or family members or friends or whatever. Sometimes you just gotta battle life alone. And you know, I'm a firm believer in that, where people make you stronger, but they could only hold you up for so long. But once that person doesn't want help, you gotta leave them the fuck alone. And that was me. That was me, where I didn't want to be helped. And you can't lead a donkey to water, or a horse to water. Where I basically I called myself a lost cause. You know, I promised somebody that I would never use the term a worthless penny again, but that's what I felt. I'm just like, I'm a worthless penny. I'm that dirty penny that, you know, I'm right in front of you, but you won't pick up. Where, you know, that was myself mentally. People may be like, dude, you shit on yourself way too hard. But for me, that's a growing aspect, where, you know, I got to make fun of myself. You got to laugh it off sometimes, where once you hit rock bottom, you can't get any worse. Where you got to pick yourself up and you got to work on you. And nobody else could work on you, you know, except a plastic surgeon. But I mean, Princess Wilde isn't coming back anytime soon. That bet, no, I'm not even talking about that on the podcast. No, I'm not talking about it. You know, people know about the bet that's coming back, but Princess Wilde, she's away for a little bit. But you know, you got to work on yourself. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, people that rely on other people are bad, but that's not personally my lifestyle. That's just not who I am, where I'm just like, gotta walk in nature, gotta work on myself, gotta take a book, gotta take a notepad, gotta write shit down. What's wrong? How do I fix it? How do I get there? And that's it. That's what I had to do. And worked on myself, and I worked on myself, where I'm just like, I could do this now. You know, I had that confidence again, where that is a bitch. That's a bitch to get back, by the way. That is a bitch. For the first time, this is everything I say on here is 100% true. For years, probably 4 years, I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I couldn't look at me, because not how, you know, I didn't like how I looked or anything. I was broken. And I was the only motherfucker that knew that, where I'm just like, I am fucking broke. Like, I cried myself to sleep, and I didn't even fucking know why, because I didn't take the time. I didn't take the time to be like, oh, I cared for myself. I dealt with everybody else's drama and bullshit, where I didn't take the time. Where I looked in the mirror, and I told myself mentally, the mirror's either gonna break or I'm gonna break down in front of the mirror, and I'm not having that shit. And it was hard. It was hard. And, you know, I still get choked up on the day that I think I mentally snapped. And, you know, a lot of people were there. And that was May 16th. Where I was playing Splatoon, I got a phone call, and my uncle passed away, and I came back to stream. And I literally had a breakdown. I was playing Splatoon, and I just collapsed in tears. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. And that was my realization, where, oh my god. You know, I focused on so many other people, and them seeing me like that, I wasn't the statue or the idol that I wanted to be, and I just couldn't handle it. And then after that, you know, I had to take some time to look at myself, and you know, it's really sad that what I had to go through, that was the realization that I don't treat myself so good. Even though I say I love myself, I treat myself like shit. But that's what I had to go through. That's my story to pass on, I guess. And that's why I love doing the podcast. I love doing the podcast. I really do. It's a little different than what I'm used to, but I love this, and apparently people that listen to it love it too. But everybody needs that realization, where, you know, now when I say I love myself, I also say I care for myself. That's like true happiness right there. Now when I smile for fucking realsies. I smile for realsies, okay? And it took growth, it took time, but I got there, and I'm there now, and I really don't want to leave. I don't really want to leave this happiness, you know, and that makes me happy just to say that and mean that shit. Where I used to put on a fake facade, and I'm just like, I'm happy, and that was my tone, where I'm just like, I'm happy. How are you? Where I'm just like, now, motherfucker, I'm motherfucking happy. How are you? You know, where it's hard. You know, I think it's the hardest emotion to master, I would say. And like, not using that as a psychology standpoint, but I think being upset and depressed is the easiest emotion to feel for most people. I'm not gonna be like that. I know everybody has that person in their friend group that's always happy at all the time. You know, either one or two things, where they're really happy, or they're the saddest person in the group and they don't want to show it. Where life is full of emotions, and I'm not saying like master every one of them, but I think we all should also look at ourselves like deeply and be like, why am I feeling this way? Like, if you're sad, think of it as, why are you sad? How could you fix it? If you're happy, I won't take that emotion for granted, you know. Because I'm really glad that life kicked me in the dick really young, where I felt all these emotions. And in the same day, we had a deck that my dad did not finish. It was like probably a 5-story deck. I'm like 12 or 13 at the time, where in the same day, I wish the Dragon Balls were real and Shenron would come down. And they're like, why? What is your wish? And I would always wish for happiness. I swear to God, I wish happiness was real at that point for me in my life, where I'm just like, not like 5 minutes a day. Okay, like, I think that's also why I collected so much Spyro stuff, where I needed that thrill for the hunt. And that's why I did Funkos for the longest time and helped people, where I'm like, I love the hunt, I love making them smile. Even if I take a net loss on it, I help somebody out. And I always wish for happiness, like either like a never-ending smile or like happiness or something, or like fake sunglasses that you wear and everything's fucking high or something. And then later that day, I looked off my deck that wasn't finished. And I'm just like, what if I just jump? Like, what if I just jump? Like, will I break my legs? Will I die? Like, I want to do a Jeff Hardy swanton bomb and just land on my back. Like, I'll survive that, right? But it wasn't. I don't think, like, I don't like the word normal, like, because it's just like nothing's fucking normal. And the sooner people realize that, yeah, life would be better. Life would be better. Give me one more second. Sorry again, my throat's really dry. Like, that's in the same fucking day, and I'm like 13, where I'm just like, eh. But nothing's normal, and I hate how people categorize mindsets as normal, bad, or whatever. Where personally, I don't really like labels for a lot of things. I think they're fucking stupid. But that'll be a whole different episode where I may offend some people, I may not, and people may have their mind open. But every mindset's different, and I think everybody needs that way to find happiness, you know. And I think, especially when I was younger, and I know my 90s kids will know this feeling, Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards, man, that was our gambling addiction, and that made us happy. Because if you, hell, it's still going on today, if you pulled something good, you're happy for the rest of the day. But then the next day, you're craving another pack. And if you open another pack and you get something dog shit, if you get fucking Win Karibo or some fucking dog shit, you're sad. And looking back on it, that small decision could ruin your whole day. And I'm just like, wow. Like, not thinking, okay, that small thing just ruined my day, how could I make it better? But you're in that instance where you just can't brush it off. Where I've had the skill where I'm just like, I bottled my emotions and I'm just like, I'm angry. And now I just deal with emotions with a whole different manner. I think I analyze it more, but I still have that gut feeling, which I'm very glad about. And I think we, like I said, the title is happiness. But even if it's sadness, happiness, love, anything, I think we got to take a minute for ourselves and just analyze, why am I feeling like this? Is it this such a big deal? Could it be worse? Could it be better? And I think sometimes we just lose that. We just lose that aspect where it's just like, oh, I didn't fucking think of that. That's it, man. That's it. Happiness is a strange thing. So is all the emotions. But for myself, for not feeling happiness for a very long time, and finally getting there, feels good. Feels fucking good. And each episode is between 30 minutes and I think my longest is almost 2 hours. But for a season 1 premiere, I don't know if this will be a 2-parter or Happiness Part 2 or just episode 2. Now, lastly, I think that'll be it for the podcast for this episode. I don't think we need to continue longer. Because we basically got everything out of the way. Now for what I want to do for like the last 5 minutes or a few minutes is, if you want to become a co-host for an episode, please do let me know. If you're live, you could see on YouTube and Twitch at Mr. Joe Wilde. So on Instagram and Twitter as well, the twatter. OnlyFans as well. Get nudes for me for $1,000 each. And also my business email, because if you don't have media, because like I do, but I barely use it. I check my emails almost every day. Email me at mrjoewild@yahoo.com. I try to respond to every email possible, and you know, I want to see where your head's at. And if you have any questions as well, those are the media's as well. And who knows, your question / topic may be an episode. But but lastly, I truly want to thank everybody again for welcoming back with arms wide open. And I don't know how it feels to be back. Somebody asked me yesterday, Joe, how does it feel to be back? And I don't know. I can't give you an answer simply because this is my first thing back. Where now having the podcast being its own separate entity, and Twitch having its own separate entity, and the podcast is blowing my fucking mind. It's crazy. It's crazy where I sort of have that little fire again. I'm just like, oh, okay, where it feels good. It feels good for right now, but I really don't know how I'm going to deal with other people's drama. And because, like I said, I'm focusing on myself, and it's not that I don't care or don't want to hear about it, but it comes to a certain point where I may just voice my opinion, they ask for it, and that's it. Where I don't want to be like emotionally shut down, but for me especially, online friends can only help you so much with personal life, but if they're not there, it's hard, really hard. But yeah, I'll let you know next week. Now, also a special announcement. This will probably be going up on Spotify on the 8th of October, and then the first, either the 1st or the 5th, either Monday or the Friday in November, that is when episodes will go out. The only reason why I'm doing this earlier is because, one, I haven't decided is if I prefer the live audience or not. That's up to you guys. And what will be better. I've decided, because I feel better and I feel confident, I didn't really want to let you guys wait too long for me to come back to media. And I figured this would be a good trailer episode to be like, oh fuck, he's back. You know, let me wait a few weeks for the next episode and see where it goes. And that's my headspace. But I personally want to say thank you all for listening, and thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Joe Wilde. I hope you're happy, because you made me happy. Take care, and I'll see you soon. And I will be available on media if you guys do want to talk for a little bit. If I stream later, I don't know. But take care, and bye-bye. Mwah!